Okay, how's it going, everybody? I hope you're all doing well. Okay, so in this episode, I want to talk about a quote that comes from the German philosopher Nietzsche. What he said was this. He said, "Without music, life would be a mistake." Okay, what's that all about? Well, before I get into it, I want to quickly mention an interesting anecdote, because it's pretty funny. So it turns out that Nietzsche actually was a bit of a musician himself. But as to how good his compositions were, well, that seems to have been up for some debate. I mean, for example, there's one story that's told where Nietzsche sent a birthday gift of a piano composition to the wife of his friend, the great musician Richard Wagner. Now, apparently what happened is that when she played the piece in public, Wagner left before she had finished, and then later one of the guests found him rolling around on the floor, laughing his head off. Now, that's gotta hurt. Anyway, okay, so that said, I don't know, maybe the best place to begin with the meaning of this quote is to compare music to language or to words. You see, so first of all, I think that for Nietzsche, language is associated with awareness or consciousness. That's to say, words express what we know consciously. I mean, language, he says, actually came later in our development, and it's through it that our consciousness arose. So the point is that there's something very conscious heavy about language. Okay, now the problem with this for Nietzsche is that words therefore are limiting. I mean, of course they're instrumental in so many ways, but ultimately what they fail to do is to disclose the deepest things about us, or about the nature of being that isn't at the level of consciousness. So in other words, language, though of course important, is sort of only in superficial contact with things. And so it only expresses the superficial. Okay, well, now music's not like this at all. No, according to Nietzsche, music, because it works without the mediation of language, it goes directly to the heart of things. It discloses the innermost heart of being itself. It expresses the ground of being that undergirds all existence. Most importantly, of course, conscious existence. Music then has a kind of revelatory power that language or words simply cannot have. Okay, but you're probably thinking, what exactly does music reveal that's so important? And so why would not having music make life such a terrible mistake? Well, I think that the quick answer is that music for Nietzsche has the power to take us out of ourselves, and so to allow us to see the world in a completely different way. Ultimately, in a joyous, life-affirming way. But that's a little too quick, so let's get into some more detail here. So what Nietzsche seems to do is he seems to link music to the god Dionysus. Music, in other words, was the Dionysian art. Okay, well now, who was Dionysus? Well, Dionysus was the god of wine and of intoxication and of emotion. He was the god of letting go and of submersion in the larger life force that is nature. Well, only music has the power to fully communicate the Dionysian. So the idea is that when we listen to or experience music, what happens is that we forget all that's individual about us. And instead we feel a sense of oneness with humanity and with nature. We merge into or become a part of the more primordial and unconscious life force that propels the world. Okay, well, now you might be wondering, in what way is this at all beneficial? Well, okay, so here I'm going to borrow from a Nietzsche scholar, Kathleen Higgins. So basically what she says is that Nietzsche thinks that this recognition of our unification through music with the rest of biological and natural being is absolutely crucial if we want to overcome despair about life. That is, Nietzsche believes that we can overcome despair in the face of suffering and human mortality by recognizing, again through music, that we belong to this larger whole, this larger life force, this larger force that will, of course, remain after our death. In other words, music conveys the Dionysian wisdom that individual existence is joyful and formidable because ultimately it's rooted in the basic underlying unity of everything that lives. So when we discover then that our individual existence is not divorced from the rest of reality like this, this should evoke a mood of awe and joy and celebration, Nietzsche thinks. So ultimately then, music is not just a way of overcoming the tragedy and the suffering of life, but it's a total affirmation of it. And this is why, without any music, life would be a mistake. Bye for now.